So here you got a bellows top and it's still got some old material on it. What you want to do is scrape all that off. You don't really want a really sharp knife to do that. You just want to kind of do this with the back side of the blade. You're not slicing, you're scraping it off just like that. And some of the glue will stay there, some won't come off, but you just want to get the paper off and not cut yourself. That's pretty good right there. So you're going to go around the whole thing, cut that part off right there so you can get a little bit of adhesion to the wood for the new paper. And then just scrape all that off and all that off. So then once you're done with that, it should look like this. All nice and clean. Not a lot of residue. It's ready for the new paper. So the next thing you want to do is figure out your bellows opening width. So right about there is the maximum width, and I'm going to measure it. And I'm going to guess it's going to be like 1.5 inches. From there, yeah, to there, it's about 1.5 inches. Not from the inner edge to the inner edge. You want to go from this outer edge here to this outer edge down here so the paper can adhere. You want to make the paper wide enough. So these are typically 1.5 inches, and then if you measure all the way around, it's about, and you want to have extra, it's going to be 6 inches long by 1.5 inches wide, which is what I've already cut right here. So this is going to go around here like this eventually and get glued on. So next what you want to do is get your TYVEK that you've cut to 1.5 inches wide by 6 inches long. You want to find the center line of it. So it's 6 inches long, so half of that's 3 inches. So that's going to be your center line is 3 inches. So it's going to be right there on that line. So then you'll take and scribe, gently scribe, without it slipping, a center line there. And the reason you do that, you want to line up your bellows pieces on the center line of the bellows piece itself. So this is the edge I'm going to be gluing here, so I'm going to put it here and try to line it up so that it's centered in the center of the bellows. So that's about right there. So then I'm going to draw the edge lines. Right there. And I'm going to make some edge lines too so that both sides of the bellows wood is even across here. You don't want this cockeyed. So you just put a little line there. And a little line there. So that way this piece goes right there. You can line it up perfectly. And then this piece goes right here. And you can line it up perfectly. Just like that. So these pieces will glue on like this. And then once that dries, you'll bring it together. And this paper will fold up and you'll bring it together, and then you'll put your hinge piece, glue your hinge piece on. This stuff's hard to grip. right here. It'll go on right here, just like that. It'll glue on right on the back, just like that. And then you'll start gluing the sides on. You'll have to cut around this piece right here, the lift rod eyelet, to get the paper to glue to the sides right. And then you got to do some trimming with the razor knife to get it to look nice. But that's the plan. So first steps are get your center line and your edge line so that you don't want these, this is exaggerating, you don't want these on here glued like this. That's really crooked. You want them to be exact and parallel to each other in the center, because you don't want to have a short side and a long side and not have enough material to go all the way, wrap all the way around this. So what I'm going to be using is contact cement to adhere the paper to the wood pieces of the bellows, and a little modeling brush. So I'll show you how I do that. First thing is you identify the lid of the bellows, and then the part that has the bevel like this is the hinge side. So I want this side right here, which is the front. I'm going to put a little bit of glue right there and around to the side a little bit. Not a lot of glue. Just around to the side a little bit. Just like that. And then we're going to try to put the edge of the paper right along the edge of this collared paper there when I stick it on here. So this is kind of tricky, and I'm a little shaky today. And there's little time to mess with it. So if you look there, it's pretty even. And I just dab that on there a little better. And then I'm going to drop it. But it's adhered pretty good. I've heard people complaining that contact paper doesn't stick very well, and this stuff sticks really great. I mean, that's stuck already. So I'm going to leave that there. So the next step is going to be to put some glue on. So this is the back part. That's the hinge. So I'm going to do that next. But this next step is to do the face of this bellows. So it's going to go right here. And then I'll have to have something to prop this up to keep it parallel, and this 90 degrees straight up, and let it dry. So that's going to be the next step. Okay, so next step, we're going to put some glue on the outer end of the bellows box here, just a little bit. Just like that. And found a socket that's about the right height to get this propped up just right. So I'm going to put that on there. And then line it up better. And press it down good once I get it in the right spot. And then we're going to let this dry better, but it sticks pretty good. So next step will be to put a crease in this paper and fold it inside between these bellows like a sandwich, and then bring these ends together like a sandwich, and then glue the hinge piece on there and leave a little gap so it's not really super tight. So I've let this dry for around 5 minutes or so, And the next step is to create a little sandwich with these two pieces and the material here. It's kind of tricky, and if the glue's not totally dry, it might come loose. So, but you want to pick it up and create this bend in the paper, just like this. Okay, so I've removed the strap that was holding that together. Not going to need it now. And fighting a cold, I think, or allergies, and my nose is running. So anyway, what we've done, we got a hinge here, and then we got a sandwich up here, so it opens and closes just like that, and you can start to see the bellows taking shape. So on this side, what we're going to do is open it up as wide as we can, and then glue it down the sides of the wood, the bare wood right here. So I'm going to put glue on the sides of this wood. And my little brush dried out, so to get another brush. Voila. So we're gonna put some glue on the wood without gluing the pieces together. Put some down in here, and then underneath here. Got to get all the wood because it's got to be airtight, sorta, to make the bellows work. It's going to be like an accordion bellows, and just suck in air and then shove the air through the notes here, the note. So we're going to open it as wide as we can, pull it straight back, and then just take our finger or my finger, I've got more than one personality apparently. And then you want this to press down in there, and then want to take the knife and actually get that going like that. And then make sure that's in there good and tight, and then I'm going to start trimming. And this is the hard part. And I like it neat, but it's really hard to cut it in this groove without causing it to tear funny or do something weird. So, okay, so there we've got that side. And we want extra on the back, because this is we're going to make a triangle, and it's going to fold around and become part of the hinge. We're going to glue it to the hinge. So now what we got to do is, there I go again. What I've got to do is trim and guess this gap. I don't want to cut into the red material and the black material here. I want to guess and come straight down where I think that line is, just like this. So I'm going to go ahead and shut that and see how that folded in real nice. So I'm going to put a little more pressure here. And then I'm going to try to poke through out here and just there. And then trim it some more to make it neat. And it sticks pretty good. This contact cement really works well with this. So you're starting to see the shape like that. And then I've left a triangle back here that will glue to the back, which I'll do that now just to get it out of the way. I'll put the glue on the back of the paper here. Bit there, and then make sure that's pressed down good so we're not losing any air gaps or anything. And then bring this down like that. And voila, it's not totally straight there, but it's in the back of a cuckoo clock. It's not being looked at, you know, by somebody all the time. So I've saved the hardest part for last because I'm going to have to figure out this eyelet. It's got to cut a slot for that to come around the eyelet. So when this comes down like this, I got to cut without tearing it up. I gotta cut that eyelet out of there. I need to go upwards with that. Okay, so I don't have it totally right. I need to just like that. So that's pretty close. So now we got to add the glue to the wood. Okay, just like that. And then we're gonna bring it around, secure it on there, and then start shoving that in, and then securing it, getting it glued. And so when you shove it in like that, you got to shape your bends. And then press, make sure everything's pressed onto the wood really well. Just like that. And then I'm going to press around that eyelet right there, just like that. And then we're going to do some trimming, which is going to be fun. So we'll lay that there, make sure we can see everything. And then we're going to try to guess where to cut. We want it nice and neat. Some people just wrap this stuff up and just plop it on there, and there's excess everywhere, and it just looks like they didn't do it right. And so I'm going to finish this going down here. I got to guess where this paper is under here where it ends, and I got to try to draw a line straight down. And you got to have a real sharp razor blade. If you got a dull one, you got to do this a bunch. So there's that. And then I want to kind of come out into the space here and cut extra out like that, and then we'll shape that up better. And then I want to poke a hole here. And then keep coming. Well, just like that. We want that neat. So and then in the back I want to cut a triangle. I don't want to cut towards myself, so I'm gonna this TYVEK's very hard to cut. It's tougher than what you think. So I'm going to have to hold this and then get some leverage here. And okay. So making sure I'm getting in the thing here. So I got to put some glue on the back. Put a little glue there. And I want it neat, so I've got to tuck everything in here. Okay, so I'm going to let this dry for a long time before we put it in the clock. But you can see how it's done, and it'll be crunchy a little bit. So then when it's blowing air out the whistle right here. And then there'll be another one that it will do, or I will do, and it'll have a different tone, so you have a different pitch, cuckoo. So that's it. That's how you do it. At least that's how I do it. Other people do it a little bit differently, probably, but this is the easiest way I found to do it, to make that hinge and everything. So there it is.